I want you to watch this video, and then I'm going to talk about it at the end.
Right, and who is the best lawyer?
Jayoma,
And why am I the best lawyer?
because you got my case dismissed.
And what were you charged with?
Assault family member,
And how much jail time are you looking at?
1 year.
And what were you accused of doing?
Beating the dog shit out of my girlfriend to where she had a black eye and the other one was closing.
And she had scratches on her face?
Yeah.
All right, and are you happy with the results?
Hell yeah.
And is there anything else you want to add?
Man, I was scared as shit today. I thought I was gonna be charged with something, but you got to dismiss, bro.
First of all, this is no disrespect to Jayoma, the Jayoma law firm, or the alleged perpetrator in the video. This is just strictly for educational purposes only. Many parents that are accused of domestic violence or assault on a family member would rather be charged in a criminal court opposed to a civil family court. And let me tell you why. The standard of proof in a criminal court is much higher than the standard of proof in a family court or a civil court. You see, the 280th District Court in Harris County is the protective order court for the county. If this man's ex, or I would assume ex, were to file a protective order in the 280th, it likely would have meant that it would have been granted and he would have had some sort of restrictions to that family member or to children that he may share with that family member. But where I'm coming from, we're talking about parents that have been alleged to have committed domestic violence, family violence, or have assaulted somebody within their family. When you've been accused of assault or domestic violence, you want justice. And I really think, and this is just my own opinion, my own perspective on how I see things, I think that protective orders that are under the preponderance of evidence standard are unconstitutional. And the reason I say that is because you have a preponderance of evidence standard that is restricting some fundamental rights to your children, to your firearms, and you're losing everything based on such a low standard of proof. I've even heard where parents have hired criminal defense attorneys to defend them in a family court over allegations of domestic violence, and they have still lost, even with a criminal defense attorney. Now, a lot of these criminal defense attorneys are baffled as to they're bringing their A game and they're still losing in family courts. And again, it's preponderance of evidence. It's more likely than not, or 51%, however you want to look at it. But if the judge just believes it's within their discretion to render how they feel, and the issue is that we see a lot of parents using the 280th court or protective order courts in order to gain the advantageous result in their custody battle. And sometimes these parents just throw horrendous false allegations out and they remain unchecked when you go into a protective order court, because protective order courts get money from state and federal financial incentives for issuing protective orders. So the county of Harris wins every time a protective order is rendered. It violates the fundamental rights to the parent and child relationship, in which I believe. And again, it goes unchecked because there's no admonishments, there's no sanctions, there's no criminal perjury charges for anyone that uses that protective order court to gain the advantageous result. We have domestic violence attorneys in Harris County, a group of women that just love to file protective orders on men, and it's really getting out of hand. So when you're a parent that is being restricted from your child based on such a low standard, and there's no admonishments for the lying, for the perjury, for the false reports, then clear and convincing standard should stand. And that's something we need to legislate. And I would appreciate if most of y'all would get behind that. Domestic violence has to be a healthy mix of a yin and a yang. It's got to have an equal balance. And right now, there's no equal balance. It's all full throttle, full steam ahead, and they're willing to give protective orders for those financial incentives. I think if we put the clear and convincing standard to hold people accountable within the protective order courts to ensure that you're not violating their constitutional rights, I think it'll be a game changer. But I would challenge Jayoma to this. My challenge is to find somebody in family court that's having issues in the 280th and see if you can bring that game to the 280th, because I can almost guarantee that the 280th doesn't really care about people's constitutional rights. And that's why most parents want to be tried for allegations of domestic violence in a criminal court opposed to a civil court. And again, Jayoma, I'm not throwing shade, like what you do. I just think that the system within Harris County is really messed up. I think there's a lot of good parents in Harris County that are being violated by the protective order court with such a low standard of proof. Tell me what you think in the comments below, and we'll catch you later. Thanks for watching.